Baby needs a new pair of shoes.
They say resist is futile. That individual is out of style. It's a simulation of a but I know less about
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 12, The Royale, is over. And it has been since March of 1989. But we're just getting started here for this Thursday, April the 17th, 2025, as we continue our mission to watch every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and review it. I'm Dave Maynard here on Live Long and Podcast, streaming live on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, or you might be listening to us on audio version or sometime in the future. Who knows? And we got a great panel once again to break down this whole thing. Here's the guy who can roll a 6 like anybody's blind grandma. It's Jody Simpson.
It's true. I really can.
Yeah. Really can. Coming in next from the porn den himself, it's Adam Woodward, who's
stole my joke.
Yeah,
Jane, cover your eyes and ears, please. It's not the porn den.
I'm looking at your background.
This is
See if I could see anything.
So this behind me, right there, is actually a Portuguese poster from Aliens.
Oh.
Yeah, and then that's Metropolis, which
just like you would have in any den, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And then a cat tree somewhere. There it is. Because there's 2 cats around here, and a snake.
Snake.
This is the worst sex den ever.
And coming in to round out our panel, it's the woman who I'll never let sleep alone. I'll make sure, even if she runs out of chips, she'll have a warm place to sleep. It's Jane Mader.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
I never get an intro like
He's
that.
behind the green door there,
She's actually just behind this wall. But yes, coming to us.
I thought I was on a Borg cube. That's what I'm imagining.
Okay,
behind the
that's probably
green
better
door,
than my
perhaps. Yeah, and so Star Trek The Next Generation, The Royale is the episode tonight. In this episode, Riker, Data, and Worf become trapped in a strange hotel on a planet otherwise incapable of supporting human life. Obviously we all wanted to be here, so I'm kind of guessing that the panel is positive on the episode, but I don't really know. Jody, how's this one for you?
I love this episode. It's got everything. It's got weird stereotypes. It's got Worf not being stupid. It's just overall, it's a great episode. And on top of that, no, I agree. It is true, actually. But overall, I've always liked this episode. This is one of the gems of season 2, in my opinion, and there's not that many of them, so it's nice to see this one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Adam.
Yeah, I enjoy this episode too. It's a true. I guess this is would we classify this as a bottle episode?
No.
I
don't think you can, because it's got a whole set they built just for this episode. They got guest stars.
Yeah, but okay, all right. It's very. There's not a lot of movement, and it's a cheap set. Then let's face it.
It's not a bottle episode, but it's a low budget episode for sure.
Yeah,
definitely
anyway,
a scraping episode for sure.
I like it a lot too. I like the stereotype. Like Tex particularly. I think he's fantastic. Vanessa. I like Vanessa. I like the clerk behind the counter. I like it. It's simple. It's fun. I think they had a lot of fun at making this episode. Actually.
Yeah.
I got a feeling about you, boy.
Yeah. And of course, coming in, Jane, who is very well acquainted with Las Vegas, as her mother lived there for many decades and had many visits there. And this episode kind of takes place in Vegas, or some kind of a fictional
so.
version of Vegas. As the the away team from the Enterprise, Riker, Worf, and Data, they walk into. I'm not quite sure what year this is meant to be set in exactly. I'm not sure if it's the 80s, the
80s?
70s. Is it the 80s? I think.
I don't think that's the 80s.
No?
No.
It looks 80s to me.
Well, the frilliness of those dealers with the frills on their shirts kind of feels more 70s to me, perhaps.
60s for me, but
Yeah, I don't
60s.
regardless, I don't know how accurate of a depiction of Las Vegas it was for you. It's a casino.
For me. No, I wasn't even thinking it was Vegas. I was just thinking casino.
It is Vegas, technically.
Yeah, they say it is. And it's a fictional. It's from the great novel, The Royale. Are you familiar?
Yeah. No.
No?
No.
But
yeah, I wanted this one immediately. Like, I signed up for this one. It's
did.
memorable. It's cheesy. It's not one of the great episodes, but it's a memorable, fun one. Episodic. I think that's more rather than bottle. Very. It reminds me of TOS and Twilight Zone, Outer Limits. That kind of a sci-fi episode. So I think that's why I really like it.
Right. Well, yeah, I like it too. It feels very original series to me. Like that's kind of where you could see like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy going through this mission just as easily as these guys do, or some variation of that. Obviously, it has all of this sort of anachronistic references. Where the away team doesn't know what room service is, and they don't know what elevators are, or it's so weird to them. But Blackjack, and Data has to look it up. A guy who can do 60 trillion computations, but he has to really look up Blackjack.
Well, it took him a while to get it too, which is even more interesting.
It took him, yeah. Again, 60
there's been
trillion
poker episodes yet, then, right? No poker episodes in the.
No, we've had one poker episode, or like at least a poker scene. With
Data.
With Data, it was the episode. It was The Measure of a Man. It starts off with Data playing poker.
Okay.
With the crew. And O'Brien and all them. I don't. This episode written by Tracy Torme under a pseudonym of Keith Mills. Tracy Torme, the son of Mel Torme, and he was not too happy with the rewrites on this episode, so he got his name taken off of it.
He did that frequently. It sounds like, every time we didn't like.
Well, he didn't last on this show. He eventually leaves the staff, and then he went off to make Sliders. He was like the showrunner and creator, kind of.
I love that show.
It was a good show.
Good one.
I like Sliders too. So Tracy Torme, not a bad science fiction writer per se. Just didn't always. I don't know. Like some of his next gen episodes, I'm like, it's the very original series. Is how I often feel about them, which is not a bad thing. It just
this has a very original series vibe, though.
Very much. Even just the way they cut between the scenes and
the transitions and everything. Yeah,
the transitions. Yeah, it feels a lot like that, but. Not a terrible thing to do. So let's jump into the screenshots of it all. This is a live stream, so if you have any questions or comments, like Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Howdy.
Play another song. So the episode begins with the Enterprise arriving at a planet where they got a report that some Klingons saw some weird debris on this kind of uninhabitable alien planet. So it starts off here with Riker and Jody looking at the scans here. This planet is very cold. It is like negative 291 degrees Celsius, which is much colder than absolute zero. So this is very cold. So cold, it's almost impossible. But
it's impossible.
It's a planet of methane and storms, and not where you'd want a vacation at all. So much that Jody gets the chills here in this opening exchange with Riker. Then Riker goes to report to Captain Picard in the ready room, and Picard is trying to solve Fermat's last theorem, which is a math problem that by his time is 800 years old. I guess in our time it'd be closer to 400. Which he tells the story of this mathematician in France who he created this unsolvable mathematical equation. I'm no mathematician.
So I'm going to share a fun fact with you right now because it's timely. This was
Yes.
actually solved in 2016.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, not in the Star Trek universe, I guess. So,
Well, this episode was in '89, so no, they didn't solve it yet.
Yeah, they hadn't solved it yet.
but this episode, of course, taking place in 2365. Or
I wonder if this episode inspired someone to solve it.
could
Probably.
be.
Could have been.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I love when they do this in Star Trek because Picard has got time for this kind of stuff, but it's also just sort of speaks to the world where everything is just provided and you don't have to really work too hard for. I can solve a math problem. I just have time to do this.
I find it stimulating.
Yes.
This is how I go. Yeah, but this seems like this is what he does for fun. I guess drinks tea and tries to solve old math problems. But they're going to try to beam up a piece of debris from the surface, and it's so important that Picard decides to come down to the transporter room for this, which I thought was interesting. So they beam it up. They know there's markings on it, but that's it. That's all they can tell from the scans. And it materializes on the transporter pad. Riker and O'Brien head over to lift it up as Picard looks on in awe. To his surprise, it is got the American flag and the NASA insignia right on it. And that is our piece of intrigue for the teaser for this episode.
And it tells us that it has 52 stars on it.
52.
52.
Which means that it was between 2033 and I can't remember what the other.
Right.
So
it
big
was-
question. Very timely.
Who's going to be the next
Greenland in Canada.
the 51st and
Greenland?
52nd
Canada.
states? It will not be Canada. Just putting that out there. But maybe Puerto Rico,
Elbows up.
BC. Who knows? Anyway, so that is our teaser for the episode as we jump into our title card, the Royale, as the Enterprise is going along. There's a bit of a mystery. They're having a guilty pleasure or a quilty pleasure.
It's a quilty pleasure. I don't know what a quilty pleasure is, but it probably has something to do with a quilt.
The G and the Q are not that close on the keyboard. So I'm just.
Oh, give him a break. God.
Maybe he's dyslexic.
Well-
Sam, I love the NASA too, Sam. Jeez, these guys are hard on you.
Well, you know.
I'm not being hard. I think a quilty pleasure sounds pretty awesome.
I love quilty pleasures. Anyway, so there's no way that a NASA vessel from the mid 21st century, we're told that this ship came from, could possibly be out this far into the galaxy. It doesn't make any sense. Although, of course, I think didn't Enterprise, Jody, find stuff from NASA's early missions?
Yep.
And-
So remind me, I didn't look it up. When did the Third World War happen in this universe?
it happens sort of around that
20
time.
Yeah, it's 2037, I think.
Yeah,
This is right.
this is right before that.
War,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're able to scan down on the planet, and they find this structure that's there. They don't know what it is, but they know it's in the middle of a methane lake. But there's a weird pocket of breathable air around it, which makes no sense because this
No.
planet doesn't have air.
I was wrong, actually. World War III in Star Trek universe starts next year, 2026. So
2026. So it's
So there's still a NASA around. That's
there's we know by the time we get to Zephyr Cochrane in 2063 that the United States is been hit pretty hard.
Mhm.
Well,
by
I
the
think
war.
this ship that they're talking about didn't it go in 2037?
It's something
yeah,
like
they
that.
said something like that, and then it was lost or something. They said
It's possible NASA could still have launched a ship during World War III, I guess. It's not impossible. Although it doesn't seem like a good use of resources. And this idea that we had a mission trying to get out of the solar system by that point, which is, I guess, what Star Trek's theorizing. Oh, well, of course, we went to the moon in the 60s and we're going to be at Mars before you know it. And then, we're going to be trying to get out of the solar system. And here we are in 2025. We haven't even got to Mars yet. So not quite as far along as we had hoped. So they decide they're going to send out an away mission, Riker, Worf, and Data, to check this out, find out what they can down there. Of course, this planet, if this pocket of air goes away, they're not surviving this. So you think
one of the best things about season 2, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Dave. One of the best things about season 2 is the fact that we get to see a lot of O'Brien.
He's in this season a lot.
He's in every episode.
Yeah,
Like
I think
literally every episode. Yeah.
it's just like we need to beam somewhere. Let's use O'Brien, and yeah, he's becoming a real like fixture on the ship, as we know he will be.
And
I like
later
this.
he'll be going through tons of torment. It'll be great.
Yeah, he's not suffering yet, so it's not
Yeah,
quite
he
a
will.
fully
He will,
realized
don't worry.
breaker or O'Brien.
Can really see the stage light there in that other scene.
Yeah.
Oh
coming
yeah,
off,
big time.
coming off
yeah.
of the door. Anyway, so they beam down, and this planet is surrounded by methane storms and things like that. So, but they're not.
The
They're not
sky
touched.
was just like rushing by.
rushing by because if the wind
Well,
alone.
they said they were in a pocket. They were in a
They're in this
of
pocket,
breathable
which
air
is all
and-
black. It's like this black void.
well, except for a door.
Yeah, except for the door, which Worf spots first. The revolving.
Hey,
door.
by the way, good news. Worf brought a phaser this time.
He did, and he gets to use it, but it does nothing. So he's not too happy with that. This was a pretty light away mission for Worf.
I also like the fact that earlier we missed it, but earlier he's like, Picard's like, well, not too many people, just a minimal away team, and he's like, okay, well, we'll take the second in command, third in command, and then we'll also take the security officer. Yeah, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's minimal. It's minimal,
Yeah,
but,
that's
but
minimal.
skilled.
You gotta take off
and-
half your bridge crew, but all right.
Yeah, so they're still in communication with the Enterprise at this point. So they say, "Hey, there's a door in front of us, and we're gonna, check it out. A revolving door." And Picard's just, this is the face he'll make for a lot of the episode, where Riker's like describing what's happening, and Picard's like, "What? That is so weird. I never would have thought."
I wonder if they just did they're just like, okay, Patrick Stewart, we just need you to look like you're very disgusted, and we'll just get 3 shots of that, and then you can go home for the day.
Do you,
Yeah,
ever,
No problem.
you ever think, when you think about how Star Trek, sort of set the tone for technology and whatnot with iPads and flip phones and all this sort of thing, but like they really missed the mark on body cams.
Yeah.
And they're always
that would be-
describing what they're seeing to the captain. It would be so simple.
It'd be so much simpler, because they could
Well,
let the view screen.
And Aliens, which takes place way before this, they have body cams.
Well,
Yeah, it's interesting that they chose to do it this way, but
Weird.
I don't know.
but
Maybe
I guess
part of
it is it's a storytelling and creating a scene that way, right? So
Yeah,
whatever.
you got to fill an hour here, guys. So we
Yeah.
got to find a way to go here.
No xenomorphs either.
So
There's a problem here.
Riker and the team, they decide we're going to go through the
It's
door.
the go on.
It's
Captain
the
Picard, we're about to go through the revolving door, and they end up in the lobby of the Royale, the hotel, a casino in Las Vegas, I guess.
Which looks like the gaudiest 80s like honeymoon.
Oh my
suite
God, this is the
imaginable.
ugliest
I
looking.
think Jane, this has got to be the late 70s. Like
Late
you're-
70s?
It has to. Like, look at those
Yeah.
frilly shirts.
Late 70s. Yeah, I think you're right.
Those that the dealers are wearing, you wouldn't see those in the 80s, I don't think.
No.
Maybe
I feel
early
like
80s.
Miami Vice clothes.
But there is a lot of shoulder pads there, so 80s
Yeah.
does check out.
It does feel very 80s as well, depending on
Yeah.
who you're looking at. But
Maybe
but-
it's 80s, but in a 70s built casino.
It looks like it definitely looks like a old Las Vegas before new Las Vegas.
before the new Vegas came in.
Yeah.
It's downtown. It's down Fremont Street, Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
right.
Look at that carpet.
Ugly. This place is aesthetically the worst. But we'll get through it.
The worst.
Yeah, not my style. Anyway, so they're kind of checking it out. They don't know where they are, but they've lost communication with the Enterprise. Now, I was a little bit unclear about the communications blockages. Like later on in the episode, they'll basically tell us it's the weather on this planet making it impossible to make communications, but they were in communication until they went through the structure. So it's hard to say if the
I
structure...
think they're speculating. I think the creators of this place are actually blocking the transmissions, but
Maybe, yeah. And we never truly get an answer for that.
No.
But they lose communications here. Jody
I kind
can't-
of like those episodes though, where they don't give you everything at the end. Like you're left.
There's
you're
a
left
bit
to
of a
ponder.
mystery. Yeah,
Yeah.
just left to ponder because there's no like reveal here at the end. They just kinda
Tex
go
is
away.
the only true alien here.
Maybe he was the alien, the whole
Exactly. Who knows?
time. Anyway, so they can't get through the communications. Picard is getting them on it, but he's worried, So Data says, "Hey, we've lost communications. We should leave right away." And Riker goes, "What's the harm in looking around? Let's check things out."
Oh, and one thing just before I forget, sorry guys. The one thing I thought of was they lost a really major opportunity by not having Wesley on this on this away team, because like imagine him like going through the casino and then like he comes across like a prostitute or something, and then like Riker's
Sex
like,
worker.
no.
Maybe sex worker.
Oh, is it called sex worker now? Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Don't you remember?
Oh
So-
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, so the bellboy goes by. Well, he'll be a character in this episode
For a couple minutes.
for a couple minutes. He'll get shot in the back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Riker goes to the front desk and we meet the assistant manager, who I don't know who this actor is, but I love him.
He's been in a lot of stuff. I don't know his name. I'm sure Adam can find that out for us, but he's like always like the
Sam Anderson.
Sam Anderson. Huh?
Damn Anderson.
But he's always like that guy that's like, you know, he's like the manager, or he's like, you know, the car dealership guy, or
He was Bernard on Lost, if you watched Lost, but he was also the principal in Forrest Gump.
Who's Bernard?
oh yes, okay, that's where I would know him from. Yeah,
He used to be on Perfect Strangers as well. He was on
Perfect Strangers. That's it. I knew he was on a sitcom of some sort.
and he was on Growing Pains. So I don't know. He
didn't
got
watch
around.
much
He's-
Growing Pains.
Boy, your mom really cares about your education.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a dirty guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Your mama sure does love you, Sally Field and all that. Anyway, so he checks them in. Then the bellboy comes by and he's like, I'm with customers. Come over here. You gotta forget about Rita, bellboy. She's leave that dame. Don't you call her a dame. Well, you gotta get things around here. And they, this kind of really like cheesy dialogue. That I don't think they would have said in the 80s or maybe any era, really. The shot of the Riker in the Void attempting to contact the Enterprise was used for Star Trek series montage for Star Trek Insurrection VHS. Oh, wow.
There's two things wrong with that statement: VHS and Star Trek Insurrection. All right. Anyway,
Well,
I'm
they
gonna
would've
put
been-
Jane up here because I feel we're blocking lovely Jane when we shouldn't be. So
Yes.
No.
Don't
You
put
can-
Jane in a
you can-
corner.
You can block me. You can block me.
And so they say, "What is this place, Assistant Manager? What is the name of this planet?" He goes, "What?" And then, "What do you call?"
I
this
love
planet?"
Worf's line on this though.
He's like,
I call it Earth. What do you
What
call
do you
it?
call it? We call it Theta 9.
Theta. No.
Got it. Yeah. We call it Theta 9. Oh, charming, he says, and he just kind of goes back to his
I
male
love how he
self.
just like ignores them right after that too. It's like he's like, no, I don't care about you anymore.
Right. They started looking around the casino, and Data's got his tricorder, and he's scanning them. They don't have any life signs. They're not holograms, and they're not robots, but they don't register as living beings. But they do
And
register.
we
as
know he loves searching for life signs.
Hey, ever been in a
Life
casino
signs.
at like 3 in the morning?
Yes.
There's not a
Well,
lot of
no.
life signs there either.
Right. So there's a bit of a mystery coming on here. Then we get to meet Tex, who
It's
will
the star
be
of the episode.
the star of the episode, really. This man has no DNA. And what does Tex say about it?
And you sound just like my ex-wife.
Yeah, the ex-wife says I have no DNA either. But
She's mean.
then there's a transition back to the Enterprise where they're still trying to figure out communications. Troy says, "Don't worry, I have like my empathic abilities on Riker right now," and he's feeling amused. He's not feeling worried.
So
Imagine being Riker and having this chick constantly know all the time what you're feeling. Like,
is this her limit of her? Like I'm just of her powers.
she has convenience.
Yeah.
I think
telepathy.
there's no consistency to Troy's abilities.
Sometimes
You ever heard about
she can send
ever-
somebody on a planet, and then sometimes she can't send somebody in the next room. It's so weird.
and she never talks about Worf's feelings.
no,
Worf doesn't
Yeah.
have feelings.
right, and Data of course doesn't, and I don't know. It's because the Imzadi thing that she can sense Riker, or is it just because could she sense any person down on the planet?
I
Maybe
think
she's
it's called
connection.
convenience and plot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's no immediate danger. Then Data goes over and plays some blackjack with Tex and
I
his
love this
lady
interaction.
friend,
It's great.
whose name, her name? Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
Vanessa, a young woman he's getting to know. Tex is. He gives Data his hat at the blackjack table.
And I love how the whole time Tex is making it very obvious he's like hitting on her, but Data's not getting it, and he's just like
He's like winking at him. Ah.
Yeah, Jane.
he's like,
Jane, do you feel that Vanessa was into Tex?
No.
No.
He was a creepy old man, and she was just like, whatever. Oh, like,
she's
yeah.
like, I lost all my money. Now I need to talk to this guy.
There's
yeah.
this part in the episode later on where he grabs her butt, and then there's
Yeah.
this whole thing, and I don't know what the hell's going on.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
No.
It was the
It was
80s.
the
You
80s.
didn't know?
You
didn't
didn't
know
know,
better.
and it was the 80s. It was one of those, things.
This is actually almost 1990. We're almost crossing.
Almost. It's still the 80s. They still don't know yet. So it's
They still didn't know in the 90s.
I was 12 when this episode came out.
I was only 6. Anyway, Data's doing his fancy card breaking and stuff like that. And he, I don't know. If you didn't know how to play blackjack, this episode will teach you on how to get to 21 without going over. Vanessa loses her money, but don't worry, Tex will take care of her. Tex also busts, I think, on his hand. Yeah, he does.
No,
he
gets
wins his hand.
Oh no, he wins. I'm sorry. And then Data wants his 5th card,
Do you know what the odds are on a 5-card, Charlie?
What are the odds on a 5-card, Charlie?
About 2%.
Can't be good, Dave.
Can't be good. Well, Data's run the numbers. They say, he gets it. He gets the 21 with the 5 cards, and he's all happy with himself.
Vanessa's happy for him.
And they go, "Are you some kind of card counting player?" And he's like, "What's the problem with counting the cards? Like, there's always the same
I
amount
don't
of
see
cards."
any purpose in counting cards.
He is kind of.
Can you go back to see his hand for a second, Dave?
Whose?
Data's.
It's like this shot.
Okay, so the last card he got on the 5th card, he got a 9. So he was holding what, 12? He was holding 12 when he hit on the 5th one.
So if he got a 10, he would have busted anything face. But yeah, but mathematically there was a higher chance of him getting it. And
well, at that point, yeah, there would have been.
So he did the right thing. Anyway, so Riker comes and gets him, and Data has to give back the hat. He's not allowed to keep it forever. Although looks better.
You enjoying yourself?
It would have been way better if Data was walking around this episode with the cowboy hat on.
Yeah, Brent Spiner is from Texas in real life. So,
Is he?
Yeah. So I'm sure that this was fun for him.
But I will say, between the two of them, there's definitely a size difference on the hat. So
let's see. Yeah,
that's why he wears it back so far, because if he actually put it where it's supposed to be, it would just go right down his face.
On his head. Well, different head sizes. As a man with a big head, I can sympathize with Tex.
Me as well.
So back on the Enterprise, they're trying to figure out how to get through the communications interference. Some science mumbo jumbo, techno babble is exchanged. It's not too important. They're working on it.
Wesley doesn't understand any of it.
Wesley and Jody, they're trying to get through. Then we go back to the Royale. So at this point, Riker's like, okay, I think we've seen enough. Let's actually try to leave. So they go through the revolving door, and dun dun dun, they come right back. It's a revolving door of death. There's no way out. They're right back in this beautiful looking casino with all these amazing people.
I don't understand Data's response to this, though, because Data looks the most shocked out of all of them, and it's like, no, Data, I think you already know what's going on here.
This was a weird scene because they were going around in a circle. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like,
break the glass. Worf, Data.
Yeah, they never tried to do that. But
No.
Well, at least not on camera. But we know that they try to use the
Number one, Jane, that's a prop. They can't just go and break that thing. They got to give it
okay.
back later.
Yeah,
All right.
That makes sense.
I think that this scene was very poor. Like, they could have.
It could have been better. How would you have changed that?
Dave, okay, here's my problem. They go through. You see them going through the circle. They're going out and they're coming right back in.
Right, because the backlight behind is
Yeah,
kinda showing
it's
that,
not like
right?
they're going out and trying to exit, and it would have been much better if they had it like I don't know.
There's
One,
probably I agree. There's probably a way to do it to make it look more believable or something, but
It was 89. We didn't know any better.
I didn't know
well,
yet.
I knew they were going around in a circle.
Well,
I
only
think they
because
all
of
did.
modern conveniences and tropes, but back in 89, they thought, no way anyone will ever understand this. So then they start walking around the casino looking for help. They go by this, Data goes by these slot machines, and these ladies don't even pay any attention to them whatsoever.
Which is very accurate to any
Very
casino you've ever been in.
Yeah.
The only thing is there will be a faint smell of urine.
Only faint. Then Riker, right? No one's talking to Riker either. It's kind of weird that nobody in the hotel will talk to them just after they tried the door. I don't know. Worf is going to take matters into his own hands. He moves the slot machine and he tries to bust through this.
Okay,
panel.
hold on here. Why the hell would he pick this wall?
I don't know. Like
It made no sense at all. Like, why do you think that there's a pathway there?
Yeah, I feel like
Like,
this is
wouldn't it make more sense to go near the door and maybe like smack some ass over there somewhere? Like, that's about the only thing I can think of. But
yeah, I guess like
he's like, let me pick this random corridor and see if I can break through the door.
But
That's
it's not
not
even a
there.
door. It looks
No.
like it's like a shelf or a wall or something.
It's literally just wood paneling.
It's wood paneling. And then Riker shows up. He goes, "It's a pretty sound structural integrity. Who could ever get through that?" So Worf, Worf was just dying to use his phaser. First,
Hey, at least he has it.
Permission.
Permission.
He always asks permission.
Yeah, he's very respectful that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the guy who's like the head of security actually carries a firearm in this episode.
I would feel apprehensive about Worf firing this phaser right by my face. Especially on
you know how tuned those are though, Dave? There's no way that Riker's face is gonna get burnt off.
It's like very close though.
But someone could come along and trip and hit his arm, and he
seems hazardous. Would you want to stand next? If Worf was shooting a gun, would you want to stand there?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
But I would assume he would be one of the best marksmen on the ship. Like,
I guess he's a lefty, Jane.
Yeah,
he is a lefty.
Or is he just doing that for this scene? Anyway, so they can't get through. Data shows up to report none of the exits work. There's no way there's radiation coming from that phaser.
The wall now has cancer.
And so does Riker's face. Anyway, so yeah, this is what I'm talking about, these transitions with the Enterprise going by the planet. This felt so original series to me. So Jody gets through. He gets through the interference, and they're able to talk, I think, here to... Maybe this is before they're able to talk.
They're talking, but it's very hard to understand them. It's still...
Oh, no, I think this is where Troy tells Picard, Riker's mood has gone from amused to feeling trapped and feeling, we can't get out. What are we going to do? So that's been reported to the captain now. And then they notice the bellboy is got a gun. He's going to take out Mickey D, the guy who wants his girl, Rita.
He looked up to him his whole life. Him and his shoes. Every time he said Mickey D, I just thought McDonald's. Like,
me too.
Was Mickey D not, or was the term Mickey D's not a thing in the 80s?
Yes, it was.
It was already.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Anyway, Riker's kind of watching all this where the system manager says, "Don't throw your life away, bellboy."
Oh, someone has to do an edit of this where the guy that comes through is actually Ronald McDonald. That would be amazing.
Oh, this is a good one. The bellboy is the hop is Burger King taking out Mickey D. So well said. Well put.
I want to see a fan edit where Ronald McDonald comes through the revolving door. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Or Grimace. Anyway, so then Riker, after the bellboy kind of goes off his way, Riker confronts the assistant manager, says he wants to talk to the full manager, but the assistant manager says the manager is very busy. He cannot talk to you. So he kind of just blows Riker off. And Riker doesn't quite know what to do. This is where finally Picard and Riker are able to talk, although it's very distorted, and that they're working on it. And Riker says, we can't leave. We're not able to leave. Because I think Riker is Wendy is the bosom buddy, bosom blonde. So it's then Riker meets up with Data and Worf, and Data reports he can detect human DNA somewhere up high,
39 feet higher.
39
And he
meters.
couldn't figure that out earlier when he was
Meters.
scanning all the people that were in the casino.
Yeah, I don't know. His tricorder doesn't work all the time.
I got more problems with this episode than I thought.
Let's take the turbo lift, Worf says, and of course it's an elevator, and they're just waiting for it to open up automatically. They don't know that. I'm not saying if you set me back 500 years, I would know how everything works, but I feel like these are the kind of things that Starfleet officers would know. Like,
Well, they go to other like places in the galaxy with people in different, evolutionary
technological abilities, and
yes.
elevators feels like I don't know. They're always just kind of amazed by elevators, even though they definitely know what turbo lifts are.
I want to know why they didn't pick up that phone.
Yeah, where does that phone go? That red phone.
Man,
Anyway,
Guessing it's emergency phone.
Then they go up to the hotel floors. What do you guys think of the decor in the hotel hallways?
This is not a hotel in a casino. I can tell you that. Right now.
This is not what Vegas looks like.
Florida.
No,
it does look like a Florida, like some kind of Florida resort or something with this
very
lattice,
wide hallways.
Wooden thing.
They packed them with rooms, man. There's no way there would be that much room in the hallway.
Maybe this is why I never really want to go to Vegas, because I think this is what Vegas is. So
this
is exactly what it is like.
Anyway, so Worf, they go into the room. They found it up here, and Starquest, I'm chic. This interior of the hotel room looks like the most generic hotel room I've ever seen.
This looks like a Best Western.
It does look like a Best Western.
It looks like a Best
Western in the corner.
Yeah, I've been in those hotel rooms.
And Riker pulls off the sheet in the bed.
The reveal.
And this was like, I don't know. I was a kid when I watched this the first time. It was scary. When we find who we'll come to know as Colonel.
I have the bigger issue. The bigger issue is what the fuck is housekeeping doing in this hotel?
Would you like housekeeping?
It's been here for like 400 years.
Yeah.
No one's cleaned the sheets.
We find out the reason he hasn't he's been dead for like 230 something years at this point.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the only reason he hasn't fully decomposed is because the environment is very sterile. So actually, I think he would be more preserved than this potentially.
Nocturnal Illuminations agrees with you, Dave. This was a nightmare.
Yeah. But I know that they sometimes find like corpses like in the desert and things like that have almost had no decomposition, or up
mummified though.
The mummified. Yeah.
No moisture. Places with no moisture.
No moisture, which I don't know. Like I'm kind of confused by this environment because we're told it's sterile, but at the same time, Colonel Ritchie, who is the guy they find here, he was able to survive here for like 30 something years, or almost 40 years.
I had to give him props on the hair though. The hair was incredible because it looked like it was growing out for a while.
He was like a crypt keeper. He must be getting the room service. Like he had to be getting the room service.
Yeah, he had to be getting food, and there would be moisture, and there, so I don't know the science of it all, but they Worf actually does some good detective work. He goes right.
Look at that closet.
He goes right to the closet. That's a big closet for a hotel room too. Isn't
it?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that.
And what's in there? His spacesuit, his NASA suit.
This guy's gold today.
Come to Hotel 6. We'll leave the light on for you for 300 years if you need it. I like it.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah. This is where they figure out that there are 52 stars on the U.S. flag, placing it between specifically these years, as Jody had mentioned. And then
Panama and Greenland. Not Canada.
I can deal with that.
Or how about Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
Washington, D.C.
Yes.
There will be a civil war in the U.S. won't exist by this time, I'd imagine.
Well,
anyway,
maybe not. In the Star Trek universe, there were 52 states in this timeline, and no one had solved that math problem either. So,
no.
Anyway,
never know.
Worf's comment when they first saw the guy, and they're like, he died in his sleep. He's like, horrible way to die. Or something.
Horrible
way to die.
Yeah,
that's good.
Died in his sleep. Yeah. Rest in peace, Colonel S. Ritchie. We don't know his first name yet. It's Stephen. I think this is where Picard and Jody and Wesley then talk to them again, and they say, we found this human body here. a NASA suit, Colonel S. Ritchie. Can you please look it up? And he goes, yeah, Worf then finds the book in the nightstand. Like, is Worf the world's greatest detective? Is Worf Batman?
That's what I'm saying. Worf is competent in this episode. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He would impress Avery Brooks or Captain Sisko. He would be the best constable.
Well, no, that's Odo, the best damn lawman in the entire sector, maybe the whole quadrant. Anyways, they find the books. So one of the books is a diary. The other is the novel, the Royale.
Go back. It's a touch-tone phone, so that puts it at.
It is. It's not a rotary phone.
Yeah, it's not a rotary phone, so
Yeah.
that would probably put it early 80s. Yeah,
Yeah, it is the 80s.
I'm gonna look that up now.
Though that lamp is so 80s, it's not 70s.
Okay, all right, fine.
It's somewhere. It's the early 80s, late 70s.
And not everyone got rid of their clothes on January 1980. You still kind of wore your clothes for.
I was led to believe they did, Jane. I wasn't around till 83, so I don't know. Anyway, so Data has to speed read the novel so he can summarize it all. Picard and Jody and all them, they figure out that the colonel was Colonel Stephen Ritchie from a NASA ship that was launched in 2037, I believe we said.
Cherebus.
The Cherebus that was never seen again. It went out, it lost its telemetry and no one ever found it. And then Riker then finds the diary, which only has one entry, where the colonel basically gives this whole account about how his spacecraft was disabled, the rest of the crew were killed, and he was the only survivor. That he was that they must have, the aliens who caused that to happen found this book on the spaceship, the Royale, which I guess they took along with them for just to kill time, and they thought that that was the world from which Colonel Ritchie came from. So he was forced to live in this Hotel Royale for decades.
This living hell.
He's like, I hold no ill will towards my benefactors. They have no idea the hell they've put me through, but I will, when death comes, I will welcome it.
I looked it up, by the way.
They left him or something. They set it up and then they left.
Right, because I get the impression that the aliens are not here while like Riker and them are here. It's that this is just kind of on an automated system, and because Colonel Ritchie didn't figure out the wealthy investor, I guess, thing, but even if he had figured out how to end the book, I guess, or end the story, he couldn't leave the planet. Like there would be nowhere to go. So what's Emmanuel saying?
I remember forever, I always thought Wolf was the best security chief in Star Trek, but in my TNG rewatch, he's one of the worst in Star Trek. I completely agree with you. So him being good in this episode is amazing.
I don't think any security chief was really good.
This man right here has my heart.
The best one is probably Tuvok.
Samuel,
I kind of think Lon is pretty good.
Lon's all right, yeah. Anyway, so Colonel Ritchie dead. And they don't want to end up with the same fate. They don't want to, have to live here in the Royale. So then there's this scene in between where it's Picard and Pulaski. Pulaski's she must have been on contract. We have to find a scene for Pulaski in every episode for this season.
They're like, you have to have 2 minutes of screen time every episode in season 2.
She's still mad about last week when they couldn't put splints on people.
Right. So Picard's talking about using the phasers of the ship to blast a hole through that protective bubble so that they can get them out. But,
that won't kill everybody there.
But he's like, won't that freeze us to death instantly? And Dr. Pulaski says, yes, but theoretically I could bring you back to life.
What a stupid plan.
Yeah. And Picard's like, it's just an option. We just had to get Pulaski in this episode, so don't worry about it.
We just wanted to talk to Pulaski.
Right.
She's still mad about the splints.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to figure something out here. Obviously Data could survive probably that freezing process, but none of the rest could. Or we know like
they did that in Discovery, didn't they? I thought there was a scene in Discovery where they got rescued and they were in space for 2 minutes. Am I thinking?
There was a scene in Strange New Worlds where Chapel and the Doctor.
There's also one in Enterprise, I think, too, isn't there?
And Battlestar Galactica.
But that's in the vacuum of space. But
Battlestar what? I don't even know what Battlestar what is. What?
Oh boy.
What is that?
But
You
this
don't
would
like
have been
Battlestar
this would
Galactica?
be almost worse in some ways because
Oh,
of
he
how
knows it. He knows it
the
well.
No idea.
anyway.
And
Then we
there's
get this
some
whole
Babylon something either. Yeah.
we get this whole bit where Worf has to pick up the phone, right? You know,
There is a female voice asking if we want room service. Tell her no. No.
No.
so they're trying to figure this out. They leave the room, and Picard and Troy, they're like, okay, well, maybe the trick in solving this is to understand the book, the Royale, that this whole simulation or whatever.
I love how Troy sets him up, and then she's like, "Okay, I gotta go."
And he's like, it was a dark and stormy night. And then he goes, oh, this is not good. Not a good story. Anyway, so then Data and Worf go on their way. And Data's like, okay, Worf, we're going to split up here and just try to mingle with like these people, right? And Worf is not looking too comfortable. He was like, this is not. But, what's up? What's up, Brandon?
Hey, Brandon.
We're not sure what Worf gets up to in those minutes, but Data goes and reunites here with Tex and Vanessa, who are still playing blackjack. And I think what did they talk about anything of substance here?
No, this is the scene where he's like encouraging her to lose.
Oh
so he
yeah,
can-
and Data is like, "Can you take me to your car? Do you have a car? And can you take me there?" And he goes, "I'm not taking you to my car." And,
Creepy old man.
Nocturnal
Yeah.
has a good question in here. He says, "Could they not have put the book into the holodeck and watched that at 1.5 speed?"
yes, they could have.
Or maybe just have like the computer summarize it for them.
Yeah, can we get the Coles Notes version or the
ChatGPT?
ChatGPT? Like, can you just summarize this plot for me in 2 paragraphs? But Picard won't do that. That would be cheating. So.
No, Picard has to read the book.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
how it is.
I read the book. It's an awful book.
Stand pat. Don't take the bet. Don't take the bet, Vanessa.
Don't take the.
And look at that look. That look is great.
Oh yeah, from Tex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, Data.
Tex
He's like,
"Don't
"Shut up, Data! I'm trying to get laid."
Don't you be cock blocking me here. What are you doing? Anyway, so she busts here. Oh, I'm not gonna have somewhere to sleep. And Tex goes, "Don't worry, honey. I'll make sure you have somewhere to sleep. I'll
Yeah.
never let that happen to you."
God, that dude's creepy.
Yeah.
Maybe she's charmed by him.
No.
I still think
She
he's
doesn't
one of
look
the
very
best things in
charmed,
this
Dave.
episode, though. She doesn't look too charmed now.
No.
No.
All right.
No.
She's like, shit, I have no money and I'm gonna have to shack up with this dude.
Well, I mean, he starts losing his money too, though. So there could be an issue there. There's an important plot here with the bellboy. Let's get back to it. So the bellboy and the manager talking.
It's important. It's an important plot.
It's important, everybody. We have to get into this.
Oh yeah, he hasn't died yet. Okay.
Yeah. Where
Spoilers.
The bellboy is not going to let this happen, and then we get to meet the infamous Mickey D.
Mickey D.
Okay,
his-
the suit is definitely 80s.
Yeah.
That's an
Those
80s.
Those
suit,
shoes are 80s.
Those
for sure.
shoes.
The shoes
with
are the
the
giveaway.
overcoat. Did people in Vegas dress like this, Jane, that you saw in the?
I didn't go to Vegas till early 90s, first
Okay,
time.
so it
and
was
I
very
didn't
different by
see
then.
I
anyone
was there in
dressed like that.
1987, and
Yeah?
yes, they all dress like this with the shoulders, like the coats over the shoulders.
Thank you. for
Not to mention
confirming.
all the cocaine falling down their shirts.
That's why it's white.
That's why you
So-
were white.
It hides the cocaine better.
So the bellboy confronts Mickey D, who is some kind of gangster, I guess.
I do like his
Um,
shirt though. His shirt's nice. I like it.
It's okay. I don't know
good
about this overcoat.
The overcoat
But
sucks.
yeah, it's like corduroy or something. Anyway, they want Mickey D just came from his Miami Vice audition. Yeah, he didn't get the part.
Didn't get the part.
So the manager is trying to. He's like, we can't have an incident in here in the lobby. You're gonna have to take this outside. Okay, let's take this outside. You don't get to decide what's going on here. And Picard and Troy can listen to all this. They're hearing, I guess, over Riker's comm badge, this whole scene. Of course, they've read the book, so they kind of know. And Picard has to turn on the volume
Manually.
manually, and then Troy goes.
And the scene's still going on. Like you can hear it. It's faint,
Yeah.
but you can hear it, which is kind of neat.
Did humans really talk like this? And Picard says, not in real life. But I disagree, Picard. But I think humans did. People in the 70s, maybe.
So Brandon wants to know, why does Mickey D kill the bellboy?
For the woman. For
For
Rita.
For a woman, it doesn't even
Rita.
need to be solved. It's
It's not worth dying over a woman, but it's worth killing somebody over a woman.
Yes, Dave, I was going to ask you about that. Do you agree with that or?
No, I would kill and die for you, Jane.
Good.
Yeah, I'm not. Anyway.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, let's move on.
So Picard's not loving this, and Troy pieces out. By the way,
Yeah.
on this.
She's like, "See ya."
See, I know they're stuck on this planet that could kill them, but whatever.
But you know what? At this point, you got communications with Riker. You don't need me no more.
You're on
I'm
your
out.
own. You're on your own, Picard.
Screw you. I'm out.
So Mickey D says, "Yeah, let's go outside, Bellboy. Let's do it." And then when the Bellboy's heading on the out, and Worf was going to get in there with his phaser. He was good, but Riker.
Which is about time Worf learned how to use a phaser.
Well, we saw him use it earlier. It didn't.
I
work,
know, but I mean, like in every other episode so far, he's like he doesn't even grab it, or like it's way too late.
But Mickey D then pulls a gun out of his back, of his pants, I guess, and he shoots the Bellboy in the back. And then there's no blood. There's no hole in his back.
And nobody reacts to it either.
And
They're just
nobody
like,
reacts to it. Well, they kind of do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they do.
The
Hold on.
mildest reaction to a murder.
They're just like, oh, okay, back to the game.
Yeah. Now, Jane, I know you didn't get to the casinos until 1990, but
Yeah.
did murders typically take place?
They
with
still take
gangsters?
place.
in the middle of hotel lobbies.
No.
I wouldn't
that I
say in
saw.
casinos, considering the amount of cameras in casinos, you definitely would be identified.
Yeah.
Like no
Well,
question.
Mickey D, I guess he's just too connected. You know, he's like Tommy and Goodfellas, or maybe more like Casino. What's his character's name? In Casino. It's not Tommy, but it's something like that. Anyway, so I'm talking with Joe Pesci's character in Casino.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he leaves the Bellboy. We never get to see Rita. Rita, I don't know if she was sad for this or not.
We don't know if she was even worth the bullet.
No, we don't.
Look at the hem on those pants. Ooh.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's
That clearly was supposed to be worn by somebody else.
much taller.
Yeah.
Is this like the suit that like Anthony Quinn wore in?
Yes, and guys, like I had pants like this in the '80s in high school. Okay, like
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Adam. It was the 80s. You didn't know.
no, we didn't know. I had suspenders too.
Oh,
You didn't know. So then Picard gives an update to Riker about how the story ends with these investors buying the hotel and whatever. It doesn't get too specific, the wealthy investors. And then Riker gets the idea. Okay, we're going to be the investors to buy this hotel. So he gets Data to basically be a card counter to try to rig this gambling thing. Data thinks he can do it. So they decide to play craps of all games, a game I still don't understand, despite it being explained partly to me in this episode.
You roll the dice.
You roll dice, and certain numbers are good,
And you bet on the type of number that's going to end up resulting from the dice roll.
yes, of course. Tex and Vanessa are here. They've moved on to craps.
Mhm.
So,
She's staying with him though.
and this is where he grabs her, whatever, gropes her.
I'm not totally sure it's just a grab. I think that's more of a poke.
It's just
That's
wrong.
a poke. That's a
And
poke for sure.
we even see here Worf is like looking down.
Worf is like, nice poke.
I don't know. There's kind of just this weird moment here from the
And then
surface of-
he looks back at them and everybody's just like, Worf, you're a pervert. Like, stop being an ass.
Yeah, maybe. Vanessa blows on the dice for Tex. I don't think they win on their roll, and then they give it to Data, and she with a Vanessa blow for luck, of course. He throws the dice, and I think the first one is bad. It's Snake Eyes
That's not
6.
Snake Eyes.
or 6. No, okay. I don't know how this
Snake Eyes
game
is
works.
2 ones.
What? Who can follow this?
Snakes don't have 6 eyes, Dave.
Data does another
He's just gonna
roll,
figure it out.
but he also doesn't. It's not good, or Data doesn't like
That's
the
a 7.
result. And this is where Data then figures out that the dice are loaded dice. They're rigged.
Oh, I thought I
And
didn't
he
think
like crushes
that.
them or something.
I thought he rigs them.
He fixes them.
No, he figures out
No, he rigs them
He rigs them.
because he just wants 7s and what's
No,
the
but he
other
said they're
one?
imbalanced.
He said they're imbalanced, so they've been
So
rigged by
they'll,
the
so
casino.
they'll never be a 7.
Well, they've rigged it so that it's not good for the roller.
Right.
So anyway, so Data then crushes them with his hand, and he's somehow able to rebalance them.
Well,
and
make them
then
sevens and 11s.
And then
whatever.
Data gets into character after this. He starts throwing the dice. He's
I love
snapping.
Fred Spider when he gets into these like.
I like it too. And Texas starts calling him slick.
You say slick. He's like, oh yeah, and you got all these like smirks and looks here. From
All right,
Data.
so we got corrected.
They were rigged. Okay.
They're rigged for the house to win.
He made them more balanced.
But then he knows how to roll them again because
yes, because he's.
Well, I think he knows how many times he can roll because he knows.
Yeah,
he knows. Okay.
He knows how hard he has to throw them exactly to get them to end up in the result.
It's a Star Trek episode from the 80s, guys. I don't think we need to think this hard about it.
I like it when Data's like this, but it is inconsistent, right? For
it
being
is, yeah.
Data.
Yeah,
but
it's a little. It's
still fun.
They're having fun.
I do like his little character things though. His little character runs every so often.
You never see Worf smile. Michael Dorn stays in character. So,
Worf is not a merry man.
He's not a merry man. He's just like, when can I go home? When is this over?
When is my paycheck done?
Yeah, so I think that Picard tells Riker that it's not too specific. And that the investors are the people that they're supposed to be playing, these business guys are very generous, lavishly generous. So Riker gets the idea. Okay, we're gonna need some spreading around money here, everybody.
Spreading around money.
We need some spreading around money.
Spreading around.
Spreading around.
Oh, go back one. Holy shit! Look at that sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite the reflection of
bright.
it. Yeah. The manager is looking very concerned. Assistant manager. Data because Riker gets Data to bet all the money, even though they only need to win like another 700,000 to get the hotel, and he's like, no, we need that spread around money. And then Tex decides to bet. Tex makes this whole point of betting against Data here, even though Data has not lost. He goes, I don't think you should bet against me because I'm definitely going to win this role. And he's like, well, that's gambling, ain't it? That's the game, son. You know?
I like when Dave gets into that semi-Texas accent.
Semi-Texas. Data rolls the 7.
Heather would just tell him he sounds like an Irish guy.
Irish guy. Sometimes I'm German. But
anyway. Sometimes he thinks they're one, but it's actually the other.
They're not that far apart. Anyway, I'm not here for impressions right now.
That's a shame.
So yeah. Anyway, are we supposed to feel bad for Tex here?
No, we're not. But you know what would have been great? I wish.
No, he just grabbed that chick's ass a minute ago. Like, come on.
I'm not feeling bad for Tex. I just wish he would have used the word pit woofy somewhere in this episode.
That would have been amazing.
I mean, where's my pit woofy? Anyway, so they get the money. They then buy the hotel.
Everybody's
Tex
happy.
has horns on his Cadillac. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He totally has horns on his Cadillac.
I don't know. This manager is always funny. He's not in this episode a lot, but there's something about him I find it amusing. And he's like, it's just a great book like the Hotel Royale. And they leave the book. They walk out of the Hotel Royale and back into the void. And it's over. They beam up.
So I want to ask, do we think the aliens were not there at all?
I don't think so.
Aliens present.
No, because they're waiting for Riker to figure out the thing. It seems like a weird condition. What
skull?
You know, I'm left like feeling like, what was it like for just to get to the final scene here with Riker and Picard up in the ready room where, you know, he's like, well, who left Colonel Ritchie there and who did this and all that? And Picard says, I don't know, maybe it's like a math problem we'll never solve, or maybe we did in 2016 and then we forgot. So that's how it goes. It was lost in World War III.
Time has lost it. Yeah.
But what I'm kind of left curious by is, like, you know, so did Colonel Ritchie, like, did that story just reset itself after a certain amount of time and then you would go through the same motions again? How many times did he see the bellboy get killed by Mickey D potentially in those 40 years he was on there? You know, it'd be like a Groundhog Day basically with yourself and these, I don't know, one-dimensional characters.
There was real food from the kitchen, right? He had to
eat. He was able to eat and there was room service.
Nocturnal has a good theory here.
What's he saying?
Oh no, it was hands off.
Oh no, it was a hands-off babysitting situation. The aliens left to get milk on one day and left the holodeck on repeat.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and even if Colonel Ritchie had somehow figured out he has to win a game of craps and then buy the casino, it wouldn't have saved him. It just was specifically.
Well, and he had the book. Like, you would think you would know how this ends. Like, it would be that.
You would think you'd try lots of things, right?
Mhm.
To try to break the loop, just like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day or anything like that. But
Or
yeah,
cause
I
and
guess-
effect.
cause and effect. So we see a lot of these early NASA missions went awry. There's also a Voyager episode, I think, where they find an early
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers. Yeah.
But you know what time it is?
What
But
time is
wait,
it, Dave?
wait. I just want to ask,
Oh.
what do you guys think before it's time? Do you have any theories on who these
We've
aliens
lost all
were?
the.
Have we
I
met
wish
them
they would
before?
have done something else with it and probably close that loop. That would have been kind of fun, but they didn't.
But do you have any guesses?
No, because they didn't do it.
None.
Well, somebody in the chat, I think it was Nocturnal, said it. He goes, "Would this just be? This could have been. Oh, here we go. Are these the same aliens from Future Imperfect?"
No, they have a similar technology, so maybe
Yeah,
it's not a bad
maybe.
theory.
Nagilum.
Could it be
Nagilum.
Nagilum? Maybe.
I guess it could be anyone.
Personally,
never
I
saw
just I just think this is all a Riker sex dream that went bad. I think that's all this is.
Like it would have to be a benevolent, like, because they felt bad. He said that he felt like they was placed there out of a sense of guilt. Like it's almost like they ran over something like roadkill style, and they went, "Whoops, I guess we better
we'll put him on this planet with this book that he had."
Well, yeah, they seem to like this casino world. Well, we'll just make that for him, and they left him there,
Yeah.
and so and then he died in his sleep. Of course, a horrible way to die. Any other points of discussion, Jane?
No, you can continue with moving on to. I think there was.
Well, what time is it, Jane?
It's time for. Yep.
Let's do it.
Facts with Adam.
Okay, so guys, first of all, the woman who played Vanessa, she actually came back and did a season 4, episode 25, Broken Link episode in Deep Space Nine as a character called Aurora.
Broken
Yeah.
Link.
Broken Link.
I don't remember that episode.
Now I'm curious about that. Here, I'm gonna look that up. While you keep going, Adam.
You would have
Okay.
covered it on your podcast, Dave.
We did. It was a while ago.
Arroya, that's her name. Okay, so the writer Tracy Torme first pitched this episode called The Blue Moon Hotel during the first season. It was one of the 2 scripts that won Torme a staff job on Next Generation. According to Torme, they had been a lot of talk about doing it in the first year, but finally in the second year, they gave me the green light and told me to go ahead and do it. It became the Royale, and I wrote the draft, which was, again, a bit of a departure from Star Trek. It was kind of like a surrealistic piece with a lot of comedy and a subtle satire in it. Now, he requested the pseudonym of Keith Mills to protest the rewrites by Maurice Hurley. Hurley rejected the surrealism and claimed that Torme's premise was too derivative of the original series. There were gangsters in this one, gangsters in that one, and both pieces had to be based on a book.
Right.
So Torme then has commented, "I've completely disowned this piece. I suppose skeletonally is my story, but when I started to reread the rewrite, I got 10 pages through it and sort of threw it away." Just one second, guys.
So it's like kind of like a piece of the action too, right? A little bit based on.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Yeah.
It's in my story. I just lost my place here. An interesting thing is that the cast, the crew, and even secretaries went out of their way to tell me how much they liked my draft, and then asked me in a total puzzle of what happened to it after it was changed. All I could do was shrug. And of course, this is all my opinion, but you'll probably hear something different from the other side. It felt like all the comedy was taken out, and the surrealism was taken out, and I feel like I was very heavy-handed now, and it was gone from being a strange episode to being a stupid episode. So he did not.
Who said that? Torme?
Torme, yeah.
It was still fun.
It's fine.
This was actually the catalyst in what sent him off the show. It became he became a lesser role. It was a creative consultant at this point.
And then he went to do Sliders a few years later.
Sliders.
He would only
I like that
contribute to one more episode, Manhunt, where further episodes on script or disputes on scripts came forward, and he just had enough.
Yeah. As a creative differences, they cite.
Creative differences.
I was just looking up that Jill Jacobson who played Vanessa. Yeah, she played like kind of a love interest of Odo in that episode, Broken Link. It's when Odo first gets turned into a solid, and she was like running this cafe.
Oh, okay.
But nothing happens really. And she actually just passed away this past December.
Oh,
So no longer with us.
All right.
well, now this isn't fun.
So this episode was actually written as a story of a man trapped to relive his most pleasant memory until it became nightmarish. Jaemeel was dissatisfied with the final product, as we talked about. Okay. It begins with the Royale begins with the line, "It was a dark and stormy night." The opening
Classic.
line was first used in 1830 by Sir Edward George Bulwer Lytton for the novel Paul Clifford, and has been imitated and spoofed by countless of other authors since. The mission patch used on the uniform found in the wardrobe is actually as that of Apollo 17, with the word Apollo obscured. Kind of timely with our
For All Mankind.
For All Mankind rewatch. There was a Colonel Richard Stephen Ritchie in the U.S. Air Force. He was actually first and only Air Force ace pilot in Vietnam. And do I have any more fun ones? Really, oh yeah, Dave, you talked about the coldest temperature. The temperature 291 Celsius is actually the low. It's below the lowest temperature possible, which is 273 or 0 Kelvin.
It's a cold day, a cold night there with Mickey D.
Cold night in hell.
It's a cold night in hell in his town.
Yep. In the original, this is another, go back to Torme again, but the original first draft of the script, Major Richard's image was kept alive by the aliens, and a dead away team crewwoman was retained to keep him company after the unseen casino manager told the story of the Colonel's shipwreck. Ritchie was the only member of a 7-person crew to survive. None of them made it to the final script or the finished episode. So that would have been interesting.
Did you see this thing about the flag, the U.S. flag, as well?
Yeah, did I skip that? I think I did.
What about it?
Go ahead.
Well, the
Dave.
one it's unusual. Hold on, I'm just gonna. Open
Oh, you're talking about the lines? Yes.
Yeah, the bars.
So it's 13 colonies that are supposed to. Isn't that what the bars represent?
Yeah, just to show
Yeah.
this. So the flag they show us here.
There's more.
Where'd you go? What they show us here is that it's unusual because the field of stars rests on a red stripe instead of a white stripe. The 15-striped Star-Spangled Banner flown over Fort McHenry during the War of 1812 was the last such flag, and since then, all flags then returning to 13 instead of 15 stripes. It's got too many stripes. It's got 15 stripes. Have had the familiar arrangement of the field being to the left of the first 7 stripes and resting on the 8th, a white stripe. I don't know. Fun with flags, everybody, and probably something we don't notice as much, but
So more stars and more stripes.
more stars and stripes. They've gone supersized
Mhm.
by this point. Seems like a Trump thing, eh? He'd be like, I don't like these 13 bars. I think we should have 15 now.
We should have one for
reason."
Mar-a-Lago,
Yeah.
and we should have.
Ratings.
Oh, okay. I was just waiting for a fact there, Adam.
Sorry, there's nothing more to tell about it. It was
That
okay.
That was the funnest fact of all.
He's just like, ratings, let's go. Okay, well, it's
I
fine.
have a
Before-
dinner
hold on,
date.
Yeah, dinner at 9:30.
Before we do ratings, let's just quickly check this comment out from Nocturnal, because maybe
Uh-huh.
that'll stray our ratings a bit. He says, wait, hold on. I have a question. Did they just leave the astronauts in the hotel room? Did they not transport the body and take it back to Earth? They just solved a huge mystery.
They definitely left it
What
there.
the hell? That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
They totally did, yeah.
Just
And
left.
let that influence your rating, please.
I don't think it
So-
will, but anyway.
Actually, that did influence my rating.
We know that they don't care so much about burying people. It seems like in the future,
Or- Well, I mean, they know
No,
what
they just
happened.
send them off to Genesis planets. It's fine.
Well, that implies again that they have some kind of recording of this mission.
well, yeah.
Which they don't.
It's
Yeah.
for them. It's like ancient history too with this guy, I guess, right? So
Shouldn't
they're
Data
like, yeah.
record it? Doesn't Data have a recording of everything? he
Yeah,
sees?
Data
Shouldn't
must
he?
have like a visual thingy
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's a very good point, though, Nocturnal.
let's rate this episode, everyone. The Royale.
All right.
I'll go first. I'm good 7.5. That's where I'm at with it. Jane.
6.5.
6.5 from Jane.
This is an 8.
It's an 8 from Jody. You've outvoted me. All right.
This is an 8.
And Adam.
It's just
I
fun.
think Nocturnal just actually threw this wrench for me. They should have actually closed the loop. I agree with this. They're historians. They needed to do this. So I'm giving this a 6.5 as well.
All right.
You're all too hard on this episode.
A little. All right. I'm not that far off from you, but yeah. So we're averaging 7.1. Not a bad rating. It's not a banger.
Yeah. It's a
You know.
7.1.
Like it's no measure of a man. Don't get me wrong here, but it's a solid, fun episode.
Well, it's
Substance wise, there's not a lot there, but
it's
I had
fun.
to give some points for Worf being useful.
True.
That's always a good
Yeah.
thing. And very rarely do I give points for that because usually he isn't. But yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
this was a good one. I enjoyed this one too, although it's not an epic episode by any means.
It's
I
so weird for
enjoyed
me to
it.
be the higher rated one.
I enjoyed it, but it's not worth a big number for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and just looking ahead to next week, we will be our next episode is season 2, episode 13, Times Squared, with
Okay.
Another
which
good
I've
one.
always enjoyed this episode. every
Yeah.
time
You
I
know
ever
what?
watched it.
Season 2 isn't as bad as I remember it.
No, it's pretty good.
No.
There's some solid bangers.
There's
in this
some
season.
very boring episodes.
There's a lot of crappy ones, like for instance, the first episode of season 2 is.
There was the
We got
Dauphin,
26
and
We've got 26 episodes. You're good.
Yeah.
there was Loud as a Whisper. There have been some. We've been a little bit up
Yeah.
and down, but it's not too bad. I've been.
There's
through,
more episodes that I like in season 2 than I thought. Let's put it that
I've been
way.
through the first 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine. Everybody, I can get through anything.
Oh,
so,
they are terrible.
Yeah, mostly. But not all of them either. So anyway, a solid popcorn episode as long as you don't think about it. Well, that's all we did for the
True.
last hour and 12
Yeah.
minutes.
You made me think too much about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
your
might give
last
it a
comment.
6.5.
Your last comment, straight it. Adam was with me until you gave that comment.
Yeah, he's like, right. They should have went.
I totally was. I was there. I was up there in the 8s.
But
You knocked him
they
down.
couldn't beam him out because he wasn't one of the wealthy investors.
But they own the hotel.
They could do anything they want.
Rules are rules, everybody. So that's how we have to go.
Hmm.
Maybe
Well-
because it wasn't in the book.
Casino.
They couldn't do it.
Was in the book.
Wasn't
So
in-
anyway, speaking of NASA, did you know you can check out our Monday night reviews of episodes of For All Mankind? Our next one.
I
is
hear
scheduled
you have a fabulous panel for that show.
episode 3. We do, yeah. Some of the people here as well.
This one scruffy fat guy. I can't remember his name, but he's really cool.
I don't know who you're talking about, but we on Monday For All Mankind. Nixon's Women is our next episode. Episode
It's a
3.
good
If you have-
episode. I just finished
If
it.
you haven't started yet, you didn't know we were doing the podcast, it's not too late to start watching these episodes and catch up with us and follow along. So we hope you do. And as we mentioned, we'll be back in a week for Times Squared. We also heard today that Strange New Worlds season 3 is going to be coming out June 12th, I think, or something like that. So look out for that.
Get
soon.
ready for 8 good episodes and 2 shitty episodes.
We'll see. Anyway, we'll have 10. It will just be a 10 episodes. So look out for those.
When's it
reviews.
coming? What's the date? Sorry.
June
Do we know?
something.
12.
All right. Got something to look
Yeah.
forward to.
They
Excellent.
finally have a date.
Yep.
So good on them. And I think that's all we have going on right now in Star Trek Land. I discovered your podcast, says Nocturnal Illuminations, and now I'm a fan. Well, thank you. And we're a fan of you.
We
as well.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Your comments were fantastic tonight.
Yeah, we hope you'll check out our other content here on the channel.
And Emmanuel. And
Drop by anytime. Everybody. of course.
Everybody in the live comments.
Sam's always here, so we always like Sam, and And Jaemeel.
We really do, Sam.
I hope
We really
I'm saying
do.
that name right.
Yeah.
Jaemeel had my heart with that one comment. He's the man. So.
Wharf one.
You're like chef, Sam. You know, we never hear you, but we know
You're just
there.
always here. Yeah, we you're like a fixture.
He's like chef.
He's like chef. Yeah.
Uh,
Riker will play you in a holodeck simulation. All right. Well, I think that is it for tonight. We'll leave you with a quote, and we'll see you next time. Thanks to the whole panel, and have a great Easter, everybody, to all who celebrate.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Why, this is the Royale, of course.
What he means is, what planet is this?
I beg your pardon.
This planet, what do you call it?
Earth. What do you call it?
We call it Theta 8.
How charming.
See you next time.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.